certain setup, certain culture, certain call regulations to follow. So this is very casual. You can be, sitting comfortably, talking. You can stop me anywhere. Just tell me this is something which I want to talk. No problem. So it's very, very casual thing. This is more like a book club. I don't know if you have come across a concept of book club.
Yes, I know that.
Prabhuji, you can try now, sharing your screen, see if it works.
Who, me? I'll try now. Okay. Yes, I think I can now. All right. Can you see the verse 2.23?
Yes.
Please repeat after me. Nainam chindanti shastrani.
Nainam chindanti shastrani.
Nainam dahati pavakah.
नैनं दहति पावकः
न चैनम क्लेदयन्त्यापो.
न चैनं क्लेदयन्तापो
न शोषयति मारुतः.
न
शोष्यति मारुतः
नैनं छिन्दन्ति शस्त्राणि.
नैनं छिन्दन्ति शस्त्राणि.
नैनं दहति पावकः.
नैनं दहति पावकः
न चैनं क्लेदयन्त्यापो.
न चैनं क्लेदयन्तापो
न शोषयति मारुतः.
न शोष्यति मारुतः
नैनं छिन्दन्ति शस्त्राणि.
नैनं छिन्दन्ति शस्त्राणि
नैनं दहति पावकः.
नैनं दहति पावकः
न चैनं क्लेदयन्त्यापो.
न चैनं क्लेदयन्त्यापो
न शोषयति मारुतः.
न शोष्यति मारुतः.
One read the translation.
The soul can never be cut to pieces by any weapon, nor burnt by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind.
So the verse is clear as it says, Nainam chindanti shastrani. Na ainam. Not it, not this, not this. Nainam is not this. Not the soul, not the soul, not the soul. So this soul cannot be chindanti shastrani. It cannot be pierced. Chindanti means pierced by weapons. So no sword, no arrow can pierce into, no knife can pierce into the soul. Nainam dahati pavakaha. No fire can burn the soul. Nachainam kledyantapo. Kledya means making it moist. Kledya is moist. So water or any liquid cannot make it moist. Nashoshayati marutaha. It cannot be evaporated. So no wind can dry it or evaporate it. So that is the quality of the soul. And in science, this is called the process of elimination. That's what Krishna is following to explain us the qualities of the soul. So when we think about the soul, so the whole section from 2.12. What was 2.12? Anyone? What did Krishna say in 2.12? How did he start these instructions? First instruction.
Can we check?
Okay, fine. You can. 2.12.
Prabhu, should I read the translation, Prabhu?
Just read the first word.
Never was there a time.
No, it's Sanskrit.
Natva evaham jatunasam.
So, natveham jatunasam natvam neme janadipaha. What does that mean?
Never was there a time when
Never was there a time when there was neither you, neither me. So that means the soul was always there. So he started with the concept of soul. So you read 2.23 now. How many verses for 2.12 to 2.23?
11.
Inclusive of both.
12.
12.
Almost, yes. Still
12.
continuing to explain the
Soul.
qualities
Quality.
of soul or aspects or or explaining about the soul. How much stress Krishna is giving to make us understand the soul. 12 verses constantly. But are we able to visualize the soul? No, we cannot visualize the soul because our consciousness is trained in such a way from the beginning that we are only trained to see material things. Only material things. So that is why Krishna is eliminating all the material things by explaining that soul cannot be pierced by any weapon. Can you pierce the earth by weapon? Earth, zameen ko.
Yes, Prabhu.
Can you pierce it? Yes, you
Yes.
can, right? That's how they do farming. They pierce it. So it is not earth. So why I'm saying earth? Because earth is one of the elements of our gross body. How many elements do we have in the gross body?
5.
5.
Yes. What are those?
Fire.
Earth, fire,
Fire, water,
water,
air, ether.
air, ether. What is ether?
The moisture, like the atmosphere, Prabhu. That is ether.
Yeah.
Space.
So the sky, you can say this,
Sorry,
something which is related to sky. So space or sky. Yeah, correctly, Mataji, correctly said. So when you say it cannot be pierced by a weapon, so earth can be pierced by a weapon. So it is not that gross, not a gross thing. Then next is fire. So fire, can fire be moistened by water? Yes. Yeah, you can settle the fire with water. What about air? Is the gas state of anything, is soul in the air? You can't see. So can you visualize it as air? Why no?
Prabhu, air we can, like air can be felt and the breeze can be seen when the leaves move.
Yeah, but that is feeling, right?
Yeah,
That's
soul
feel
we
it.
cannot, yeah,
No,
soul
no,
we
that's
cannot, like
okay. No,
breeze we
that
can
is
touch, Prabhu, like soul we can't touch, like I'll say,
Mataji.
physically.
What is Krishna saying? Is Krishna talking what you are saying in this verse?
Prabhu, it's saying that it can't be pierced, right?
Yeah. So can you pierce air?
Oh no, okay. Sorry, Prabhu, I was like thinking.
So there is no concept of feeling in this verse.
Hmm.
Yeah. So Krishna is not saying that you cannot feel the soul. Is he saying that?
No.
No. So how is air or the gas state? That can be burnt, isn't it? Gases can be burnt.
True.
Yeah. So Krishna is saying that soul cannot be burnt. It cannot be burnt by fire. So that is the process of elimination of gas or air. So this is called analysis. That's why this chapter is Sankhya Yoga. Process of analyzing and understanding, identifying. It needs a bit of thought and some deep understanding. So this is purely on the basis of analysis. And this process of elimination goes on that by weapon, fire, nor motion by water, nor by the wind. So can you dry the earth if it is wet with the wind? Yes. Can you dry it? Yes. But the soul cannot be dried. So any liquid can be dried. So what Krishna is saying that soul is neither a solid, nor the liquid, neither a gas. This is what Krishna is telling straight. So it is not a part of any of the gross elements. So how would you visualize the soul? Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? So when we think about these things, when we think, that makes us realize and understand where Krishna is taking us. So he is taking you to the deeper understanding of the substance of the soul is trying to make you identify that whatever is your visualization about the soul may not be correct. So think a little bit more. How would you identify a soul? And that is the process of self-realization. Yeah. And that is exactly what the process of spirituality is, to self-realize first. But instead of that, we try to engage ourselves in materialistic activities and think that these are spiritual. Yeah, that is the notion. So we start understanding people, we start understanding rituals, we start understanding everything except what is the soul, which is the fundamental part of Bhagavad Gita. If we cannot think that we are a soul, we cannot proceed in our spiritual journey. Everything comes later. The first understanding is that we are not this body, we are a soul. And Krishna is harping on that constantly. Okay. So this is the process of elimination. So he takes that as a as a as a fundamental understanding of what is a soul. So we'll read the next verse now. Please repeat after me. अच्छेद्योऽयम् अधायोऽयम्
अच्छेद्योऽयम् अदाह्योऽयम्
अकलेद्यो शोष्य एव च
क्लेद्यो अशोष्य एव च
नित्यः सर्वगतः स्थाणुर्
नित्य सर्वगतः स्थाणु
अचलोऽयं सनातनः
अचलोऽयं सनातनः
अच्छेद्योऽयम् अदायोऽयम्
अच्छेद्योऽयमदादयोऽयम्
अकलेद्यो शोष्य एव च
अक्लेद्यो शोष्य एव च
नित्यः सर्वगतः स्थाणुर्
नित्य सर्वगतः स्थाणुर्
अचलोऽयं सनातनः
अचलोऽयं सनातनः
अच्छेद्योऽयम् अदाह्योऽयम्
अच्छेद्योऽयम् अधायोऽयम्
अकलेद्यो शोष्य एव च
अक्लेद्यो शोष्य एव च
नित्यः सर्वगतः स्थाणुर्
नित्य सर्वगतः स्थाणुर्
अचलोऽयं सनातनः.
अचलोऽयं सनातनः.
Someone read the translation, please.
The individual, should I do again or? The
Individual soul
The individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble and can be neither burned or dried. He is everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same.
So he continues the other characteristics of the soul. What does he say? It is unbreakable. So you cannot break it. Insoluble, not be mixed with any liquid, and it can neither be burned or dried. To reassure what he has said in the previous verse, he is everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same. So it is eternally the same. It does not change. So what does that mean to you? It does not change. Yes. What does that mean to you? Are we changing?
Yes.
Yes.
What is changing?
So everything is changing around us too, right? We are changing, this world is changing, people are changing, everything is changing. But there's one thing which is always the same, Krishna says, which is our soul. It does not change. You can confirm it by your own self, your own barometer. Just you must be remembering something when you were little. So what you were at that time and what you are now is completely different. Your cells have changed. Your body has changed. Everything has changed. Your circumstances have changed. What was important for you at that time, no more important for you now. Completely changed. Your perception about the life changed. Yes, but you still remember that. So there is something within you which is not changed. Who is the witness of that change? But he himself is not changed. And that is the soul. And when we try to meditate upon this concept, that there is an unchangeable thing within us, only then we can understand that that which is not changing could be a part of something eternal, which is nothing but God. And that brings to the understanding that we are nothing but a part of God. Part and parcel of God. What does parcel mean? It has to go back. So the ultimate understanding is that we are here, but we have to go back. So that understanding, when we develop slowly, only then we are able to realize ourselves that yes, we are a soul who's a part of Krishna and we have to go back to Krishna. So Krishna explains this. He tells very clearly that every process, everything, every work, every activity that you do in this world should be a step towards me. But on the other hand, our step is away from Krishna because that's how we have been trained. So if you see from the childhood itself, we are trained that success is in achieving things in this world. You should get a nice degree, then you are successful. You should have a very good stable career, then you are successful. And then after the career you should have a very good family life. That is success. And after that you should have a very good, comfortable and luxurious life. That is success. Isn't that changing? And people who have actually achieved that, when you see them and ask them, are you successful, are you happy, and they say no, how disheartened we feel. So where is the success? Yes, Kalfish.
I was while browsing this YouTube, I came across Lata Mangeshkar's interview,
Yeah.
and she was asked, "Do you want to be Lata Mangeshkar in next life?" She says, "No."
Yeah, that's
She says,
true.
No,
"No."
no.
I was surprised. Like, she's
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
word element.
Yeah.
She's,
People pray. I've seen people praying in front of her,
yeah.
considering her as a demigoddess,
Mm.
praying her before singing. That she's a goddess. Saraswati ka avatar hai wo. But she doesn't want to be the Saraswati ka avatar on the next life. How good is that, yeah? To hear it. Yeah. This is material life. And what we think is success, Krishna is actually discouraging that. It is not that what is success. So what is that? What is it that makes us successful? What is that which makes us happy? Is the state which soul is in. So if we are able to be in the state of the soul, then we are happy, which is nothing but serving Krishna. That's what happiness is for the soul. The actual position of the soul. Jiva Swarupen Nityera Krishna Das. That is the actual position of the soul, the Anu Atma. So we are the Anu Atma, and Krishna is the Vibhu Atma, the complete. So we are a part of that complete. Although we are complete, as he says in Ishopanishad, he says what? Om Purnamadaha, Purnamadaha. He says that everyone is complete. Purnasya Purnam Udachate. Everything is complete by itself. And every unit which is a part of me is actually complete. So if you see a tree, it's complete by itself. If you see our own self, we are complete by itself. If you see someone else, he's complete by itself. Everyone is a unit and complete. Everything which is created, a part of Krishna, is complete in itself, though it is a parcel. It has to go back to Krishna because it is detached from Krishna, and it has to go back to Krishna because it has a beginning and end. So if it is a beginning and end, it will stay here until it goes back to Krishna. So the perspective of any Anuatma or any Atma, not the Vibhu Atma, which is Krishna, who's the complete Ishvara, but the Atma or the soul, the process is, or the activity of that soul only is to be in the shelter of Krishna. So he says in chapter 9, verse 27, he explains this process that whatever we do should be directed towards him. Only then we will be successful. And that defines our success and happiness. I'll share my screen. Please repeat after me. Yat karoshi yad ashnasi
Yat karosi yadasnasi
yaj juhoshi dadasi yat
yajjuhosi dadasiya
yat tapasyasi kaunteya
yat tapasyasi kaunteya
tat kurushva madarpanam.
tat kurushva madarpanam.
Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. Gives us the direct instruction. So what we generally do, we take all the problems, big problems, and tell Krishna what our problems are. Instead, we should tell the problems how big Krishna is. Everything that we do, everything that we perform in this world should be an offering to Krishna. So the purpose of the life defines our success, not achievements. Does it make sense? The happiness is in defining the purpose, defining our spiritual purpose. That makes us happy, not achieving or getting all the materials and luxuries of this life, of this world. This is a journey. We have to understand that this is a process. Life is not about achieving everything and then getting all the material benefits in this world, all the luxuries, and then trying to do something as a charity or doing some bhakti as a return gift to Krishna. Oh, thank you for giving me all that. That is not the bhakti process. That is not the devotional service. Devotional service is a continuous process, defining your purpose to serve Krishna. And in the interim, if you get all the benefits, that's okay. Thank you. Thanks, Krishna, for that. So if you get a very good car, very good house, lots of money, utilize that, but for the purpose. Because if you see in this world, everyone is being taken care of, including animals. They somehow get food, shelter, and clothing, and they live. It does not mean that you don't have to work towards it. Of course, you work towards it. But the purpose of this life is not just having your food, shelter, and clothing and luxuries. There is something more to it. People who have tried to accumulate wealth and then try to enjoy that and being successful with that have generally all of them been unsuccessful. They have never been happy. There may be material luxuries given to them, but then health may suffer. So if the health is good, you may not have money. So it will not be a complete picture anytime. And the reason why we should have the purpose as Krishna is not because there is pain in this world. It should be out of love. That is the understanding. But that is developed over a period of time, because love cannot happen all of a sudden. It is developed. So when you realize, when you understand that we are a part and parcel of Krishna, over a period of time, you develop the love to go back to him. And the process, if we follow, of remembering, chanting, or any of these 9 different bhakti processes, we will surely be able to have that love for Krishna over a period of time. Now, I'll give you an example. Now, I went to India in December, and I met a few devotees while I was going to Radha Gopinath temple in Mumbai. But on the way, when I was going via, I went to Delhi first, then went to Vrindavan, and met a few devotees there. And there were some devotees which were really living in some, inner places, were very hard to reach. But I went to meet them. They told me one thing. They said, "Why have you come to us?" I said, "To meet you." I said, "Yes, that's true. But why?" I said, "Because," I didn't have any answer at that, "because I just wanted to meet you." I said, "That is why you are here, because you have that love for us." So when we go and meet someone, even though it's a painful process, it's a difficult thing to go and do that, we do that, that is because of love. There is no other purpose but just because of love. If that is something which we can develop for Krishna, that we want to go back to Krishna out of love, not because we are suffering in this world, not because there is a lot of pain in this world. मेरे को मुक्ति चाहिए, छोड़ना है सब मेरे को. I am fed up of this world. That's why I want to go back to Krishna, so that I can rest in peace. R.I.P. है ना, लिखते सब लोग. हाँ? कोई मरता तो R.I.P. 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 पूरा WhatsApp भर जाता है पूरा. एक हैप्पी बर्थडे हैप्पी बर्थडे हैप्पी बर्थडे, एक R.I.P. 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 This is what they do in WhatsApp groups. Yeah, normal. And the person who is having a birthday doesn't even know who is wishing me. Then he replies, "Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you." This is what is going on. ये communication है. Imagine if they would have exchanged one Bhagavad Gita verse with all this thing, they would have read the entire Bhagavad Gita. एक ही birthday में आया था सारा पूरा उनको. But the point is, you have all the time in understanding all this. Yeah? But not that This is a place of pain, yes, but I don't want to rest in peace. I want to go back to Krishna out of love, because I want to love him. That is the basic feeling, because that feeling is what is people search for, even in drugs, my friends. The reason why people take drugs is because they want to feel the feeling of love. If it is not natural, they want to get it artificial. That's why they inject themselves with drugs. Imagine. And Krishna, by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he has given us such an easy process of chanting his holy name, thinking about Krishna, which make us feel over a period of time the love for Krishna. So Krishna says very clearly that whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, whatever austerities you perform, do that as an offering to me. What does that mean? Just think of Krishna. Smaranam. If we can just think about Krishna every time when we do something as an offering to him, that's all will help us go towards him with love. If any one of you has fallen into love in this material world, that is exactly the same process. तू मुझे खाते हुए भी दिखता है या दिखती है, तू मुझे सोते हुए भी तू दिखता है या दिखती है, या तू मुझे whatever you do, you think about that person. And that's exactly what Krishna is telling you in 9.27. Read that verse. It defines love. And the beauty about the love with Krishna is that it is eternal. It doesn't end. Generally, the material love which we talk about in this material world, whatever love we call it in the movies or anywhere, that love doesn't stand more than 18 months. That's been, already analyzed and proved. 18 महीने से ज्यादा नहीं चलता है रोमांस वोमांस जो भी 18 months max, give or take. उसके बाद में it's just somehow they try to be compatible. That's how this world works. But when you are in love with the eternal, your love is eternal. That's what Krishna is talking about. So identify yourself as who you are. We are the soul, we are not this body. And that soul is eternal. It cannot be destroyed. So there was a very big personality, Socrates. Have you heard about it? Socrates. Has anyone heard Socrates? So Socrates is when he was being attacked at the time, he was actually they had made a plan against him and framed him in some way. His own people. He's a king. So at the time we were trying to catch him and kill him and actually punish him, his words were that how will you punish me or how will you kill me, because you can't even catch me. He understood that he's not this body, he's a soul. So Srila Prabhupada explains about that also, that context as well, that this understanding, if you get that over a period of time, maybe not this lifetime or over a period of lifetimes, you will have the understanding that who you are. But the first identification is that I am not this body. I am not a part of any of these gross elements, because they keep changing. They can be destroyed. They can be pierced with the weapons. They can be burnt with fire. Everything can happen to them, but soul, nothing can happen to it. It will always remain unchanged. So at this point in Bhagavad Gita, at 2.23 and 24, why Krishna is telling him that? Because the next chapter is coming is Karma Yoga. So he is telling him all this, that it doesn't matter that you kill anyone as a part of your duty, because that person will not be killed. That person is a soul as well. So you just do your duty, which is nothing but your karma as a Kshatriya. So without having all these kind of doubts that you are going to kill someone or you're going to destroy someone, because the soul cannot be destroyed, remains unchanged. Just do your duty. So the idea behind all this understanding is that do your duty and fight. Yeah, so this is basically these two verses, 23 and 24. Please meditate on them. Read them. Very important verse. Very easy to pronounce also, especially 23. It's a very famous verse. And pronunciation is not that difficult. So you can try and recite these verses. If you recite a verse every day once in your mind, within a week, you will find that you don't need the book to recite it. Try it in Bhagavad Gita. And you will be amazed with your pronunciation of Sanskrit as well. That's the beauty of Bhagavad Gita, because they are Brahma Vakya. The desire to pronounce them will help you pronounce them correctly. So please recite these verses and try to meditate on the understanding. Any questions or comments or understanding, or have you understood both these verses completely? No questions?
Prabhu, just one.
Yeah.
Prabhu, as you said, it is very difficult for us to visualize soul. So
Yeah.
that's very true. Knowing all this also, we try to know, like we know we are souls after reading all this, but then again in reality, we again start relating with body at some point. Like you have to keep telling yourself we are soul constantly. Like somehow the material energy is around. So I always catch myself again relating with body. So I was
Yeah.
just wanting if you can help us, like, so we can stay on this path of recognizing us as souls.
So
So
we will
if
read the
something,
next verse also to complete your understanding as to what is that problem. What is it exactly that happens to us? So nothing else, but there is one thing which constantly happened to us, which is the, I would say the prickle, basically the thorn inside us, which doesn't come out. So what is that which happens to us? Krishna explains in the next verse. So I'll share my screen with you. So it is 2.25. Please repeat after me. Avyaktoyam achintyoyam
avyaktoyam achintyoyam
avikaryoyam uchyate
avikaryoyam uchyate
tasmadevam viditvainam
tasmadevam viditvainam
nanushochitumarhasi.
nanushocitamarhasi
Avyaktoyam achintyoyam
avyaktoyam achintyoyam
avikaryoyam uchyate
avikaryoyam uchyate
tasmadevam viditvainam
tasmadevam viditvainam
nanushochitumarhasi.
nanushocitamarhasi
Avyaktoyam achintyoyam
avyaktoyam achintyoyam
avikaryoyam uchyate
avikaryoyam uchyate
tasmad evam viditvainam
tasmadevam viditvainam
nanushochitumarhasi.
nanushocitamarhasi.
Can someone please read the translation?
It is said that the soul is invisible, inconceivable, and immutable. Knowing this, you should not grieve for the body.
soul is invisible. Number one. So even you can see ether, you can see sky, yes? You can say there is sky, there is space. But soul is invisible, Krishna says. So you cannot see with these material eyes. So how would you be able to see it? Or whether you will be able to see it? Or whether you want to see it?
Prabhu want to see.
Okay. So if you want to see it, Krishna says it is invisible. So what does that mean? That you cannot see it. Answered? Yeah, simple answer. If you want to see it, but you cannot see it. Sorry. What next? What does Krishna say next? It is inconceivable and immutable. Yeah? Inconceivable. Cannot conceive. Achintya. Conceive means you cannot bring a thought of the soul. And what does that mean? That means this intelligence which he has given us, that cannot visualize the soul. Because this is material intelligence. Yeah, so it cannot visualize the soul. Yeah. And what is the next thing? Avikarya. Immutable. Avikarya. What is avikarya? What is vikar? What does mean by vikar? What is a vikar? Anyone?
Prabhu form like,
Vikar.
sorry Prabhu, vikar or nika?
Vikar. Vikar.
Mute.
What is a vikar? The changes that we see in ourselves are vikar. So you see, we have a lot of vikars. You know, sometimes we are wanting to do devotional service, nice activities, do some puja, offer something to the Lord and eat. But sometimes there is a change. We want to enjoy, we want to drink, we want to eat meat, we want to do something which is illicit. So there is a change which happens all the time. The change is a vikar. Okay. So change, the changes which happen. So these changes are nothing but the changes, swings in our body and the subtle body. They are not in the soul. The soul does not have any changes. So the vikar, avikarya. So there is no vikar in the soul. That means it is pure. It is completely pure. Yeah. And what is that? Knowing this, now if we understand that it is completely pure and there is nothing which we should worry about. If we understand the soul, if we understand the soul and we be in that position, we will never change and we will always be in trance. And actually, there will be no vikar. We're worried about our vikars, right? So ultimately, the problem is with us. There is no problem outside, right? Correct? How many of you believe there is problem everywhere, not with me? Or there is a problem with me, not outside? I'll start with Aradhya Mataji and I'll go. Yeah, because as I see in the list here. Yes, Mataji.
Prabhu, I feel the problem is with me.
I mean, okay, with us.
Yeah, like
Not the world, right? Correct.
not the world. Yeah.
Okay. Jay, what do you think? Is there a problem in this world or there is something with some issue with me? With us?
If I think of a problem, then there is a problem in the world. If I don't think of a problem, there is no problem.
Oh, very nice. Very good thought. Yes, Kalpesh, what do you think? Okay, I can't hear. I will go to Ritambara Mataji.
Okay, sorry, I was on mute when I was trying to speak.
Okay,
I
okay.
was when you asked the question, Prabhuji, I was on the phone. I
So
got
what do you think the problem, I mean, if we have any issues in our life or circumstantial issues in our life, do you think the problem is in the world, people, or is there a problem within us?
it's a karmic reaction.
Okay, so that's a totally different understanding that we are receiving the issues because of our karma. Very good understanding. Yes, but do you think there is something within us which can be changed to understand this? Or is there something in the outside which has to be fixed?
No, it's all within consciousness.
Very correct. Very nice. Yes, Ritambara Mataji. What do you think?
All entirely we need to change ourselves. It's everything is outer side
Within us.
is the same. It
Yeah,
we can't change and it will never be changed.
never be changed. Absolutely. You can't change the outside. Absolutely.
Is
Sushma ji, are you there? Are you able to hear us? What do you think?
Yes, Prabhuji. I think like problem is with us, with me, how you
Mhm.
see the world.
How you perceive the world. Yes.
Yes,
Rather than actually the world itself.
yeah.
So what is that problem? What is that problem?
The problem could be anything, Prabhuji, like for example, ego, negativity,
Mhm.
or like how we want to see the world from our perception. It depends on that.
Okay. Okay. Yes, Kalpesh. What do you
It's your
say?
own actions,
Own actions. What are those actions?
karmic actions.
Okay. Yeah, that happens with everyone.
Any action
But
basically.
what are our actions? Fundamentally, so there are two. I'll give you start with. I'll give you a clue. There are two things that we do all the time. One is Krishna mentioning in this verse 2.25. The other one is he has already mentioned, and he will also talk about, but we can take it up today just for an understanding. So the two things that constantly we do is the cause of all the problems, which Aradhya Mataji, the question was
Yes, Prabhu, I got
that
it.
we are not able to identify ourselves as a soul. Yes. Why? Because of these two things, major two things. So one is Krishna saying in this verse, the other one is what I want to know from you all. So whether you are able to find that in this verse also is one more thing.
Prabhu.
And the second one, if you have that any clue, please happy to discuss. Yes. Anyone?
Yeah, Prabhu, what Krishna is saying in the verse is that we should not grieve for the body.
So what does that mean? Grief.
That if like as Sushmataji said, ego, like when somebody insults us, so if we relate with body, then we'll be grieving. But if we relate with
Yes.
soul, then it doesn't matter.
So what is that lamentation? Can we say that?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. So if you see the translation of this verse 2.25, so there is Nanu Shochitum Arhasi. So not Anu Shochitam means lamentation.
Mm.
Shochitum. So if you see what is Shochitam means, it's constant thinking. Lamentation is a process of constant thinking. और negativity कोई बोल रहा था ना, सुषमा माता जी बोल रही थी negativity.
Negativity.
और ऋतंबरा माता जी भी बोल रही थी negativity. Or someone was saying negativity. That negativity is nothing but the negative thoughts. Lamentation बोलते हैं उसको. Lamentation. उसके पहले लेकिन कुछ होता है जिसकी वजह से lamentation आता है. What is that? I am after that.
We don't relate with soul, Prabhu. We
That
don't
is
understand that we are soul.
the biggest problem. But we do something that brings in lamentation. What is that? Lamentation we should not do. Krishna says that.
Greed.
Huh?
Greed.
Greed. So what is greed a part of? There is a broader umbrella under
Part
which
of your
greed
gross
comes.
body.
Desire,
Huh?
Prabhu. Desires.
Desire. Desire is also a part of a bigger one.
So until
You're close, Mataji. You're close. Aradhya Mataji, desire is very
Yes,
close.
Prabhu.
Yes. Yes, Kalpesh, you're saying something.
So until we are in a non-spiritual environment, like, when I say non-spiritual, I mean the sense, even when you're working like a very good job, like
Yes.
9 to 5 job,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you're bound to do certain things which
Correct.
sometimes some people may not like it, or it might be against some people. For
That
example,
is okay. That is your duty. You have to do that. That is also what.
no, but let me explain a bit more further, Prabhuji.
Sure, sure,
This
sure.
is something sometimes I find really very, very funny, because I used to do a lot of marketing for many companies, right?
Yeah.
So once sometimes I would tell them, like, oh, you know what, if you have this kind of, if you present your product in a better manner, look at some people in your area, they are earning like 20,000 on that, and you are earning 2,000. You might get some share out of that as well,
Yeah.
on the market. Oh, I don't want their share. मैं बोलता था, भाई अगर तो तेरे को उसका शेयर नहीं है तो बंद करके चला जाना वो हिमालय में.
Hmm.
So indirectly or directly, you are taking someone's share too.
Yeah.
Okay. अभी आप कैसे ले रहे हो, क्या ले रहे हो, कर्मा तो बन रहा है.
No, that is different.
हाँ.
कर्मा बन रहा है, वो क्या हो रहा है? Don't worry about the karma at this point. That we will discuss in chapter 3. कि कर्मा कैसे बनता है. अभी ये है कि what is that brings in lamentation? That is the question.
Prabhu, is it material
Motivation?
desires? Like,
Desire, yes. Desire, yes.
but is it
तो
material desires?
desire से ऊपर भी एक चीज होती है. Desire तो किया आपने, लेकिन desire को पाने के लिए we hanker.
Yes, Prabhu, hankering. Yeah, you're
So
right.
you know what is hankering?
Yes, Prabhu.
ये
Constant.
मेरे को चाहिए, इसके लिए मुझे क्या क्या करना है, वो होती है हैंकरिंग.
Constant.
Desire is one thing, but when you do something for that desire, that is called hankering. अब जो आपने किया, वो डिजायर को फुलफिल करने के लिए जो हैंकर किया, द एक्चुअल एक्टिविटी शुरू किया, उसमें जब वो नहीं मिलता है ना, तो लेमेंटेशन आता है. फिर जब लेमेंटेशन आता है ना, तो फिर से हैंकर करने लगता है. ठीक है, चलो प्लान ए नहीं, प्लान बी, कुछ ये नहीं तो ये, एंड देन ही वर्क्स ऑन दैट. वो भी नहीं आता तो फिर लेमेंटेशन आता है, वो भी नहीं आता फिर लेमेंटेशन. ये सर्कल है, और उसमें कभी बीच में कुछ मिल जाता है कृपा से भगवान. So then he gets more motivated for hankering more. अब वो जो रिसीव होता है, वो जो रिसीव होता है, किसी को ज्यादा मिलता है, किसी को कम, that we will discuss in karma section. But that motivates again to hanker more. But let me tell you something. Hankering for material luxuries does not mean that they will bring you happiness, even if you get them. This is the unfortunate story. So Krishna explains in chapter 5, यही संस्पर्श चा भोगा दुख योन एवते आद्यांतवन्तः कौन्तेय नतेषु रमते बुधः. So when you hanker for
Sorry,
something
Prabhu, which
materialistic,
verse is it?
522, 522,
Thank
22.
you.
So these are all what you get of hankering from this material world. These are only sense pleasures. Anything what you get, and they have a beginning and an end. So once that hankering for something you get, it has an end, then you'll hanker for something more. That cycle will not stop, because there is no satisfaction or happiness in that receiving of what you're hankering for, unless you follow 927. When you hanker for Krishna, when you hanker for the eternal, only then you will get something, some satisfaction of eternal satisfaction.
Prabhu, can I read
Otherwise,
5.22?
yeah.
Yeah, Prabhu, it's very nice because
Yeah.
it will
Yahi
give you
samsparsha.
like
You can read the translation. Yeah.
an intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery, which are due to contact with the material senses. O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and an end, and so the wise man does not delight in them.
The
Prabhu,
wise
that's
man
beautiful
does not
shloka.
delight in them. So
Yeah.
you don't feel happy. So for example, you got say $50 million. Oh, very happy, very happy, very happy. You may be happy at that point, but it may not satisfy you. Because that also has a beginning and end. Yeah. There was a time in the United States, I was reading about the Great Depression during the 1930s. So at that time, they would give a lot of money to buy one bread. So there was an instance where they will fill the whole, no, I did not United States of America, it's a different country. So where where I think it was a different country where they had the currency went really down. So not during the depression, sorry, my bad, different country. So a lot of money to buy a bread. So they will fill up the bucket with all the money to go and buy something, groceries or something. The whole bucket of money to go in. So what the person will do, the person at the grocery shop, he will throw that money away and keep that bucket and give them a bread, the barter of the bucket. So bucket was more expensive than the money. So these circumstantial, happiness may not give you, circumstantial events may not give you happiness. So at this point, you might be hankering for, oh, if I get this much money, this much money, this much, this much, this big house, this, family, this, that. If I get that, I will be happy. When you actually receive, then you may not get the happiness which you are hankering now. That's what Krishna says, that they have a beginning and an end.
So what is the definition of happiness if you receive $50 million?
Sorry?
What is the definition of happiness if you receive $50 million?
There is no connection between them, actually. There is no relationship of happiness between money and your satisfaction and happiness. Yeah.
Prabhu, do we get temporary happiness with that? As
That's
per
what Krishna is saying.
Yeah,
So they
it's
have a beginning
temporary.
and
It has a
end.
beginning and an end. So you
And
do get, but for a certain time.
correct.
Right?
And sometimes even if people have, there is observation by the realized souls, highly elevated devotees, that sometimes the pleasure is in hankering for something, but when you actually get it, you don't enjoy that much. The desire is more sweeter than the goal itself. If you know what I mean. So that is the beauty or the dirtiness of this material world. This I explain further in chapter 5 about this material world. But at this point, to understand why there is lamentation, because there is hankering, constant hankering. I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. And we expect from people also that I'm expecting this from someone. That should happen from them. That should happen from them. That should happen to them. But when it doesn't happen, makes me lament, makes me grieve, makes me sad. Suppose I spoke to someone and he spoke to me very nicely one day. Tomorrow I spoke to that person. He's not speaking to me at all. सोचता रहूंगा, यार कल तो चला यार, आज क्यों नहीं बात कर रहा है? क्या हो क्या गया? Next day you tried again and he didn't reply. What has happened? And now your only purpose of your life is that his reply. तो जब तक वो रिप्लाई नहीं करेगा ना, मैं लगा ही रहूंगा उसके पीछे. Why are you wasting your time? Huh? Instead, you have a purpose to serve. Nobody will stop you to serve Krishna. Have that purpose. You know, to serve Krishna in any way. Chant, serve, be in the thought of the Shastra. Come on, read them, try to understand them, spend time there. When you have a spiritual purpose, then all these material aspects, you will deal with them. Deal is the word. देखिए बात नहीं करेगा अपने आप करेगा यार, कोई बात नहीं. मेरे को तो काम है वापस जाके चैंटिंग करना है, मेरे को जाके पढ़ना है भगवत गीता, मेरे को जाके अपना शास्त्र पढ़ना है, मुझे जाके सर्व करना है कृष्ण को. That's all I need to do. And there you will not get any setback. I can tell you. Guaranteed. वहां से आपको setback नहीं मिलेगा. Because Krishna always reciprocates. He will always reciprocate. Sometimes you may have to choose the route. Yes, you may have to go through Radharani sometime. Doesn't listen. वो माँ जदी सुनती है ना, तो कभी कभी राधारानी के पास जाना पड़ता है. But he will reciprocate. Guaranteed. Because he is the best friend. He will tell in further verses. So try to attach yourself. He says in chapter 7.1, Mai asakta mana partha. You focus your mind in me. The first verse of 7th chapter. So you put your mujhse man laga. But problem is that we try to attach ourselves into the world. पीछे पड़ जाना यार यार वो, और सबको दुनिया भर को बोल देता है, पता है ये बंदा मेरे से अच्छे से बात करता था, पता नहीं क्या हो गया है इसको, तू जाके पूछ क्या हुआ है उसको. And you know everyone. उसको जाके बोल कि मेरे से बात करे. और अगर उसने उसके साथ अच्छे से बात कर लिया, then you are more furious. यार वो उसके साथ अच्छे से बात कर रहा है, मेरे साथ ही प्रॉब्लम है, वो क्या प्रॉब्लम है मुझे पता नहीं. And to find that out, you will do what not. उथल पुथल कर देंगे हम लोग. Yeah, that happens in offices. That happens in the corporate world. That happens in the families. That happens in social circles. And that is the biggest issue for between us and Krishna. Biggest roadblock. Because you cannot give out the thought. You know, this is called lamentation. Because we hanker for, and the biggest problem, even now it was there, but after I see after this pandemic, it's much more evident, which I see, is the fear of rejection. Fear of not being accepted by certain social groups. ये fear है, सबसे बड़ा fear है आजकल. Fear of being isolated, fear of being alone. कोई मेरे से बात नहीं करता, कोई मेरा friend नहीं है. This is the biggest fear. People hanker for people, but they don't get the response, they lament. It's unfortunate. That's what Krishna is speaking about. Do not lament. You focus on me. I should be your purpose. If I'm your purpose, then there is no lamentation. And in that process, you might find yourself as well, that I'm a soul hankering for Krishna. And that is self-realization. It's a very sweet process. Okay. Any other questions? Now, Krishna will take a twist from here in Bhagavad Gita, but that we will do next week. So he will take a total U-turn in explaining Arjun. From here, ekdam gaadi ghuma dega Krishna. Pura. So you will like this, the other part also. It's like a debate. So he is debating his own self. He's contradicting his own statements. So he will do that to convince Arjun to do his duty. So that is what Krishna will do. But that we will discuss in our next week. So next week is 6th, right?
Yeah.
So next week we have Kirtan.
Yeah.
In Sydney. So we'll have that, but we will have our discussion also at the same time on Sunday. That also we have. So anyone who is in Sydney can join us. Yeah. Yes, Kalpesh. Sorry, can't hear you. You're on mute.
Sorry, I was mute. Non-stop kirtan, okay?
No, stop Kirtan. Hari bol.
Complete intoxication.
Saying the Kirtan will start on Saturday?
Kalpesh, can you please share the details?
6:30? Yeah. Okay.
6:30 morning time.
Evening.
Evening. Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
Sydney time.
So probably I won't be able to join next week, but I will try. I will take my laptop because I have to go anyway in Sydney. You know that Prabhuji, this Pakshi's marriage function is there.
Oh, it's
So
on 6th of May, is it?
yeah, 6th of May there is Sangeet in Sydney.
Ah, I see. Okay. So if you have a chance, you can come for Kirtan.
I will take
Otherwise, you attend.
I'll take
No,
my laptop.
otherwise Sunday class will be
Sunday
there anyways.
I will Sunday. Yeah, while coming back, I will take that because we are
Sun-
coming back on Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday we'll have our Bhagavad Gita discussion anyways.
Yes,
Yeah,
I will join. I will.
yeah. Perfect.
But I will definitely try to join because I really loved your kirtan yesterday. It made my day yesterday. It was lovely.
It is Krishna's name, which is powerful, Mataji.
Yes, you're right.
I just sing it. That's all. But the name is very powerful. That's
Yes.
why we feel that. So the name itself is Krishna actually in this
I
world.
surely I will join. I think
Yeah.
I don't know, but I will try.
Yeah, sure, Mataji. So I will see you all on the 6th of May.
So the same link I
And
have to use for that.
sorry, Mataji. Kalpesh might help in that one. Kalpesh,
Yeah,
if
it's
you
the
want to
same
share
link.
the link, he will share the link. So the group will be the same. Yeah. The group, there is no different group for our mantra meditation.
No.
That will be the same. Yeah. Okay. Any more questions or comments before we close?
No,
So
thank you, Prabhuji, for the
everyone
beautiful
is
class.
self-realized now.
So it's
No, Prabhu, we just understood the concept. It's a long journey.
Very nice. Very nice.
today I felt so nice about to hear that your class because so many things were going in my mind too. So go somewhere and you find the same situation what you discussed today. So I'm relieved now.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. Please read these verses. Very powerful verses. 23, 24, 25 bring us closer. As we go further in Bhagavad Gita, brings us closer to Krishna. Yeah, as Arjun is coming closer to Krishna, we also will slowly. Because Arjun is currently closer to his relatives, unfortunately. Even being closer to Krishna physically. He's thinking about his relatives, thinking about everyone except Krishna. Slowly, Krishna will tell him, don't worry about anyone. I'm there with you, right in front of you. Think about me and fight. That's it.
Yeah, and Prabhu 9.27 is also beautiful. It's about the duties. I think it's
Yes.
very good. It's very practical.
Yeah.
So I'm
Application.
gonna read that. Yeah, I'm gonna read that. And
Very powerful verse. 927 is very powerful verse.
very powerful, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Lifestyle change.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you all. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.